Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey,
Hey y'all, hey y'all. Welcome in to the fourth quarter storytellers. And boy, do we have some stories to tell today, like we do every day that we talk. But let me introduce myself. I'm Cynthia Merritt. I'm 60-ish years old. And I came upon my retirement years and I said, oh, okay, am I prepared? No, I'm not quite prepared. So I had to put some strategies and some thoughts and some things together, ideas together to get myself where I need to be. And I'm working on all of that now, and things are looking much, much better. And we have stories to tell about my experiences, Val's experiences, and I'm going to turn it over to her and let her do her introduction.
all right. I am Valerie Davis. Ooh, hold on. It did that again.
Echo.
Yep, let's get rid of the echo. My apologies, guys. Hello, I'm Valerie Davis, and I am 53 years old, and I am preparing myself for retirement. I thought that I was doing a great job, but I actually wasn't doing a great job. Came into the realization that I need to do a better job. And I am here to give you things that I've gone through because it's real life experiences, and we all have real life issues that we need to have real life solutions. So I am here just for that. And hey, we have stories, as Cynthia said, stories that you guys could relate to, will relate to. And hey, that's what it's about, relating and helping each other out.
Absolutely. Relate to and learn from.
Yeah.
And we bounce things off each other, and you guys, we're just here to bring you our experiences so that we can tell you some of the missteps that we have done so that you can possibly prepare yourself and prepare strategies so that you don't have to go down those same roads and make those same mistakes. And then our job will have been done. Let me just say one thing, well, several things before we get started. I'm always talking about something, but so, I'm always talking about the independent news and how you need to get your information from there. I just want to tell you, and this comes from, I want to always give my source, the Midas Touch Network. Okay, so I just want to tell you some of the things that have happened in the last 6 months. We're in June now. So since January of 2025, we have had the tariffs imposed, which has caused prices to go up. And if they haven't gone up on what you're buying yet, it's just not there yet. It's coming. The stock market was manipulated. People lost their 401k funds. They're seeing them growing back if they haven't grown all the way back now. But it was manipulation so that the billionaires could buy some stock really cheaply, and then they got it back up there, and that's how that kind of stuff works.
Mm-hmm.
So the stock market manipulation, Medicaid slashed. Secret police now throwing people who look Latino in unmarked vans, and they have on masks, and they're throwing them in unmarked vans, picking them up at their jobs, at restaurants, construction sites, picking them up at Home Depot, where the day laborers are out there looking for work, and the trucks come and pick them up. So they're going around and doing that because they have a goal of 3,000 arrests per day, and they have fallen short of that. So now they're just going up because when they ran on that, they said that they were going to be picking up the criminals,
Yeah.
and the rapists and all that kind of stuff. There's not that many of those in the United States, guys. That was just a lie. So what they're doing is they're having to try to show those 3,000 a day. So they're just picking people up, breaking up families, and they've been showing videos on the husbands that have been picked up, and the wives and the children are left here to fend for themselves and all that kind of stuff. Anywho, so that, and then also the National Guard and the Marines unleashed on the protesting peacefully
Yes.
people in Los Angeles. So unleashing the military and the National Guard on citizens of the United States exercising our rights. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have let's see, he was supposed to end the war in Gaza and in Ukraine. within 24 hours of his presidency beginning. They're still at war, both of them, guys. And we're 6 months in. So that was a lie. And then the last thing, we're now at war with Iran. In case you don't know, there was a bombing last evening, and it was with a deeply hidden site in Iran that only the U.S. has the capabilities to get to. And we were able to go in and bomb them under his orders. And just keep in mind, he has no sense or knowledge about anything having to do with war strategy. That man, he's just up there saying, just trying to make himself look like a king. Go ahead, Val. You like you want to say something?
No, I was just saying,
agreeing.
Ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous.
And he's just putting us in these positions, y'all. And I'm hoping that his supporters are seeing how this is impacting us and making us as the United States look like such a foolish nation. First of all, and I'm gonna get off of this because I could be talking about this forever. But first of all, the United States is looking at us as United States citizens being, and all of us, I'm gonna tell you, because there's a 92% who did not vote for. Okay, we had nothing to do with voting for, and but the ones who did, they have the rest of the world looking at us thinking that we're just stupid for putting this person in office to lead our nation.
Yeah. He's making us look like big fools.
Yes.
Had absolutely nothing to do with it.
And that's what they're thinking, Val. They're thinking, what kind of people are those to
senseless
want him to lead? Like we all wanted that, Right. That's what it looks like to them, the outsiders looking in. But anyway, that's what it is, y'all. And so, but we're gonna get on to something else, honey. But I just had to say that because in case people aren't keeping up with the news, because what you're watching on local news and the ABC, NBC, and CBS, they're not showing you all this stuff, giving you,
You're absolutely. Just to let me tell you this, I had someone message me last night. It was like, I must have been out of the loop. Why are we bombing? And I'm like, what? Out of the loop? You're not paying attention? What is going on? So when you said a lot of people may not know, they may not know.
No, because if they're just watching the headlines that they want to spoon feed the U.S., then that's that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then again, it's not even that. They're so concerned. They're so concerned right now with where them fans at. They're concerned.
Oh, see,
fashion, clothes,
y'all.
Working overtime or not working. They're so focused on everything else and that work. See what's happening is they're getting distracted and they're seeing what's going on. It's a much bigger picture.
Yes, y'all.
Bigger picture.
Absolutely, Val. That is such a great point to make because I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, I just said they're missing it, honey.
Yes. And you know what? Because where them fans at, I was trying to learn the dance when I was at my Father's Day celebration. And so I said, I'll pick it up, with some tutorials online. So the next celebration, 4th of July or whatever, I'll be able to do the dance. However, there's stuff that's more important. So I haven't been even practicing the dance. Whatever you do wrong, it's going to come to light. And you're going to be dealt with. God said, vengeance is his. Let God handle all that. We got to get over here and handle where we are right now in the United States with this government. Before we get on today's topic, I did want to bring up one other thing. Now, this is something that I really want everybody to do, especially in these times right now. Please, let's educate ourselves because they're trying to erase our history. You do know that, right? So they're trying to erase our history. They don't want Black history to be known about or talked about or taught to their little children that are coming up in the world that they had anything to do with something as ugly and nightmarish and causing people trauma as they did, as such as slavery. So anyway, everybody needs to be reading something about your history right now. And if you're not, Please start today. Val, are you reading anything right now that's educating you on our history?
Well, I think that I am. I bought
Okay.
the Uncle Remus book.
Okay.
Bought that book. I went to the museum here on Juneteenth.
Okay.
I purchased and I was going to bring it in with me, but it's in a different room. And several of the tales that are in that book, I remember my mom read to me when I was.
Okay.
So and it talked about different things, but in a jovial way. But
Okay.
it gives us a little history in there, and it's the Uncle Remus. Yeah,
So it's easy to consume.
easy to consume. It's
Oh, wonderful.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's
Okay.
yes.
Wonderful. And I'm reading one that's very easy to consume. I did bring mine in the room.
Okay.
And this is let me get here, 1619 project. And
Okay.
it's the visual experience. And
Oh,
what I mean by that, y'all, this book it's thick, but it is filled with big pictures of all of the stories,
good graphic. Okay.
graphics. Oh my gosh, it's so easy to consume and so interesting. It's like not like reading a book, it's
Mm-hmm.
like experiencing the book because of the stories and the pictures, and it's visual experience, and of course it's by Nicole Hannah Jones
Okay.
and the New York Times Magazine. So they did this in conjunction together, the visuals and her book, because you can buy the 1619 project by itself, just to read. But I love this visual experience because it's like I'm experiencing all of the stories together. Now,
I,
this is a good one to tell your grandchildren about when they get older.
I need to get that book
Mm-hmm.
for my
Absolutely.
babies. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do. All right. So let me get to what we're talking about today, y'all. I'm all over the place because I have got so much stuff I have been working on. But we are talking today about because that we are in such an interesting time now, and we just talked about some of the things that we're talking about and experiencing. It's so important for us at this point in life, um, really in any point in life, but right now especially, to know our divine purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't know, it's our job. It's our job, no one else but our job to find our purpose in life. That's our job, to find why God has put you here. And the way you do that is through your experiences. Everything will lead to the next thing. It's like breadcrumbs. Everything you experience. Now, the choices we make will sometimes determine the outcomes of those experiences, and sometimes they're not what they uh we would want them to be. But then when we see that the choice that we made was maybe something that could be corrected and we can go in another direction, then that's for us. But there's something usually in that choice that was a negative outcome that will be a lesson that we can learn. And that's why it's always so important. Every time I'm going through something that seems to be um, negative or traumatic, Val, I always ask myself, well, I ask the issue,
Mm-hmm.
what are you here to teach me? What are you here to teach me?
Mm-hmm.
And then I open myself up through prayer and meditation to receive the answer. And it always comes, always comes. So now is the time more than ever for us to seek and find our divine purpose in life, you guys. Finding our divine purpose, the deeper reason why we're here, it's usually something that's going to entail things that are spiritual, soulful, or higher learning or higher experiencing than ourselves. That was something we can consider just from us. It's something higher than that. It's both inspiring and sometimes overwhelming. And it's not usually a one time discovery, but it's going to be an unfolding process. It's going to be going on and on and on. And here's a grounded approach to helping us begin to deepen that journey. I watched a little documentary called The Black Candle on Friday. It was a documentary regarding Kwanzaa. And it was said that we must have a purpose in life and a purpose in our community. So, both in life and our community. And it was said in the documentary by one of the organizers that someone had told her that Kwanzaa told her then the Kwanzaa meant progress, and it's so important for young people to participate in Kwanzaa celebrations so they can see that they belong and that something is being done for them. She also added that she feels that it gives them a feeling of both security and for hope. And I remember I had my first and only, I never did it since then, but I had one Kwanzaa celebration when my sons were small. They were maybe between 6 and 10. I can't remember exactly what age it was. I can't remember what the year, I believe. Oh, the year was 2000. The year was 2000 when we had that celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And I invited two of my girlfriends and their children. And then the children had to, excuse me, recite a poem for each one of the candles. They came up to the front of the room. It was like, a little celebration. They picked the candle up and the unity, and then they had to, say those. It was so sweet. And then we had music, we danced, and I had prepared a beautiful meal, and everyone had to declare a goal that they were going to achieve for the next year. And that was a great celebration. And I was thinking about it. That was a great celebration for children too. I don't know how my sons felt about, I don't even know if they remember it, but I don't know if it had any meaning. I'm gonna have to ask them.
Yeah.
And how they felt about it.
Right.
I don't even know if they took it seriously or other than I learned this poem like I did for the Easter story or whatever, at church. So, but anyway, hopefully, if you have those celebrations every year, and Kwanzaa is between December 26th, and I always remember that because that's my birthday, December 26th through New Year's Eve. So, though all of those days have a special meaning, and it's a great thing for our children.
Right.
So, and we've already talked about what we've been reading. So now let's look at about our purpose. The first thing we need to look at when we're trying to determine our divine purpose, y'all, what should whatever we listen to and what pulls at us, whatever is, something that's really pulling at our hearts or our attention, pay attention to what consistently stirs your heart or your spirit.
Yeah.
And what causes you to get emotional, what makes you get emotional. Yesterday I watched this movie. Well, it's not a movie, it was a series on Netflix called The Straw. I mean the not The Straw, the From Scratch. From Scratch.
I remember seeing that.
Oh, it's so good. It's starring, what is the young lady's name? Zoe somebody.
Donna. I saw that. Oh my God. I've seen that 3 times. I've cried each time I've seen it.
And you know why? I because I felt like I've been needing to cry from this layoff stuff that I'm going through again. But and I couldn't cry just thinking about that. But this thing had me wailing yesterday. And you know what it is? It's the sense of family. When her family came and held her, when the first time they found out about his health condition, and her family came, it was her mother. Well, all of them anyway. The family was amazing. But when they came and actually enveloped her, hold with a big hug, the father's wife, new wife, and her mother, and because they're divorced, and then her sister just holding her like that, just enveloped in there, and it just, oh, that just made me cry like so
I
crazy.
know. And they showed up when they needed to, and they showed up in ways that she didn't know that she needed. Sometimes it wasn't even anything that needed to be said. They were just there.
It was
And
there.
it gives you that sense of like, man, no, I'm not alone. And I got help to get through this.
Yes,
And then for me, that's what made it so sentimental and personable to me. I was like, oh my God, you
absolutely.
you just have no idea how much strength can be given from a hug or from
Yes.
just, whew, yeah, that's
And then at the end, the
mm,
way his family,
mm,
even when he was gone
mm-hmm,
in Sicily,
embraced her.
embraced her and honored her
Yes.
to where she ended up going back there.
Exactly. For her loyalty, her dedication, her
Yes.
love, her
Yes.
passion, her trueness, she was real. She loved that man with all of her soul. And
That's what it's all about.
yeah, love him from your heart and love him from your soul. It's two different things, honey.
Mhm.
She loved him from her soul, and that was a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So that and so what makes you emotional, that's where that came from.
Yeah.
And then what activities give you a sense of timelessness or flow? Whatever you do, and I always used to say this to my sons, what would you do if you could do it, if you could do it for the rest of your life and not make a dime doing it? What would you still be doing anyway? Because you love it, and it just when you're doing it, you just flowing in it and time just flies by.
Mm-hmm.
And then works of service, and it leaves you feeling so fulfilled when you do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are signs that give you those clues to your deeper purpose in life, y'all.
Exactly. And Cynthia, I want to say something to that point. A couple of years ago, as I was taking care of my seniors with the concierge service, I took care of this lovely man, Mr. Raymond Lundy, and he passed away last year. But his family, they remember all the great times that we had, all the great work that I did, but didn't feel like work to me. It just felt like, hey, this is what I like to do. Well, the family, the daughters, they always call me. I called to check on them, but they called to check on me.
Aww.
So this past week they called Miss Valerie. We hope that you still have your service. If you don't have your service, we still hope that you're available because we've been referring you um, and talking about how great you were with our father and how much love you poured into him and poured into us, and it made us closer. And we have four individuals that are in need of your service. Four,
Oh my gosh,
four.
Val.
Yes. So
Wow.
So she gave me the information. I explained to them that I've since moved, but siblings and nieces are there to assist those individuals with whatever is needed. And it just goes to show that the act of service I love that's so joyful to me left
Mm-hmm.
a big imprint and impact on someone else that's still referring me. So that's because I love it and I
Yeah.
that with compassion and I do it from my soul and my heart. And that fulfills me. So when you made that last statement, I'm like, I just have to share this little story because that's what we're doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Girl, please.
So
Yes.
sharing our story. So what you put out into the universe, it does come back. Like you said, what is your purpose? What is your purpose? Several years ago, I went to a seminar just for that. What is your purpose? And they were asking all these. Well, I thought they were crazy questions. They were asking all these questions. I'm like, my purpose is to be here for my kids. My purpose is here to love them and all this stuff. Your purpose is the purpose for you, not for someone.
Right.
But a lot of times when you ask somebody that, I've asked that in my training courses recently. What is your purpose? And the first thing they say is for their kids or for their wife or their husband to be there for them. But what is the purpose for you? So you got to do a little deeper searching. You got to have your quiet time. You got to ask bigger questions. And so you can really figure out what is your actual purpose. Okay. So you can do that by creating that private space, that stillness, that place of no interruption. Just have your time. Meditation and prayer. I do that all the time. I got up early this morning. I meditated, I prayed, and then I exercised a little. This book I'm doing the 40-day prayer challenge, draw the circle. It's just like you're on the floor, you just sit in that little circle and you give God your time and you pray. And you pray without ceasing. So this has really been helping me here. So you find ways to find your purpose and to keep moving. And then you journal. I have a journal with this too. So I'm journaling with this. And what I love so much is to spend time in nature. Oh my God. Oh my God. It seems there's something different that happens. There's something different that happens when you're outside, the sunshine, and even just a brisk breeze or
The
cool.
birds.
The birds are chirping during the summertime, seeing the butterflies. Look, even just watching the little bitty ugly lizards, honey, just roll on by you. It's just still, it does something to you. And it makes you feel so good.
It does.
You have to try different things because we're going through such a hard time right now. So we really got to dwindle down and think about what helps us stay sane, what helps us keep going. And then sometimes we just need silence.
Yes.
Retreats, just silence on your own. Honey, go in your closet if you can't go anywhere else and just have quiet time and just enjoy what God is telling you, but you can't hear it if there's so much clutter. You can't hear it if there's so many distractions. You won't recognize it if you don't ask for the discernment. Okay. So you gotta get into that place and space so that you can welcome this and know what your divine purpose is. What is your divine purpose?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, one thing too about our purpose, we can look for patterns that are like those breadcrumbs, patterns in our lives. Your divine purpose is going to leave breadcrumbs, y'all. It is going to leave breadcrumbs. Whatever pains or struggles that you've overcome, Lord have mercy. I can speak to this, you guys. Since the day my husband was killed and I became a single mom and then had to raise my children, it was from that day forward, I have experienced some struggles. And so I can speak to this in so many angles. I really can, from so many angles. And what what do people often come to you for? Like, what kind of advice, consultation, questions, whatever do people bring to you? And usually mine are overcoming those obstacles, such as what I've been through, and raising my two sons by myself, and doing things like that. Different career paths. How do you do this and how do you do that? How have you been able to juggle this and juggle that? Those are the kind of questions I get, and I get excited about it because I know from what I speak, and I'm able to help someone else get through that journey. Which, when that happens, you guys, then I go into prayer and I thank God. Thank you, God, for that experience, so that I was able to go through it, but get to the victory state, and then say, yes, I was able to accomplish this with the help of God and the guidance of God. And now it's my turn to help someone else get through it. And so, because things that usually repeat themselves in your lives, you will notice that that's something that you're there to teach, from those deeper wounds that that's a part of your purpose, being able to help people get through that, because there will be someone who goes through that.
Yeah.
The same stuff that I went through, you guys, and the same stuff that I was able to overcome and become victorious about. Someone in the world somewhere is going to say that's too much, and they're not going to have coping skills. And that could take them out. So that's why we're here, to help as many people, anybody who comes into my proximity and interacts with me. I'm always there to teach, always there to teach and embrace and hug.
Yep. That's and you know what, Cynthia, I saw on social media on Facebook, I do believe that on Father's Day in Atlanta, there was a young man that jumped from the bridge. Did you hear?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I saw that, and then so what I did in return, there were people in the comments saying, I can understand how he feels, or sometimes I feel that way. So I just put a message in there, and I think I even shared it on Facebook to say, hey, um, life does come at different angles, and sometimes you feel like you can't, and you're not prepared to handle it. But there's always someone to talk to. Reach out to me. Reach out to me. Reach out to me. Reach out to me. I just over and over because you don't know, like you're saying, it's the pain and the struggle to overcome. You were able to overcome, and you're still doing it, and you've done an excellent job with your young men. So some people feel that they just can't do that, and they feel like they don't have the grit to be able to do it. So so sometimes those wounds can be so horrible that you don't want to find the purpose in it.
And let me just say this too, with what you said, because to this day, and I'm 60-ish, to this day, sometimes my eyes still well up
Right.
because I feel like a motherless child.
Right. Okay.
Because my mom died when I was 5. I never really had a mom. And it makes me feel like, oh, my life would have been so much different if my mom had been alive to guide me and think.
Right.
It may not have, it may, but it's just, but what I did do, and this is the thing about perspective, because there was nothing I could do about that.
Right. Right.
And then God gave me several other mothers, because He gives you what you need. He gave me girlfriends from my dad that were great. He gave me my stepmother. He gave me my mother-in-law, who's still, she is my mother.
Right.
My mother, she's my mother. And so, but He gives you what you need. And what I needed to make sure I did was give my sons the best life they could have, even not having the father. And I didn't want them to have to miss that. I know that they did, and they do still miss their dad. But I just needed to show up and be the best mom I could because I didn't want them to feel lack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you did just that. And thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
To do so. Thank you. Yeah, I applaud you greatly.
Oh, thank you so much. But yeah, so we have to stay open to guidance, guys. So whether we believe in God, the universe, spiritual guide, ancestors, intuition, whatever it is, inner wisdom, we have to stay open. We have to stay open for guidance because we have to practice asking ourselves for signs and clarity. So when you get those signs or you get that clarity, be open to receive it and don't just put there's no such thing as a coincidence.
That's true.
There are no coincidences. Nothing happens by happenstance. It's there for a reason. So we got to pay attention to synchronicities. We have to be willing to follow those nudges. The nudges come with our spirit. In our spirit, something will just nudge you in the spirit. And even while they don't make any full sense to you, but if it's nudging at you, y'all, it's probably something that's giving you a sign.
Bigger than you.
Yes.
You got to move and go with it.
Absolutely.
Discernment, honey, when you feel that nudge and just, I can attest to that, Cynthia. And I'm thinking, now, why am I going this way? Why am I doing this? But I'm going to go ahead and do it. And
why does this keep showing up? Why does this thing keep coming up? Okay, is this a sign? Is this some clarity?
That's true. Because purpose often reveals itself when we step outside of ourselves. We're talking about that nudge. So the moment that you just step outside of yourself, that's when purpose is revealed.
Yes.
So you got to serve beyond yourself. Let me say that again. Serve beyond yourself. We're not going to be, what is it called? We're just not going to think about self all the time. Guys, you got to give yourself, you got to give your mind, you got to give your skill set, you got to give your knowledge, you got to become a volunteer. somewhere, something, somehow give back. Give back. You got to be a mentor. You know a lot.
Yes.
You can teach. You can
Yes.
just show someone, just like Cynthia just said, someone may need just a little guidance, and you can just be talking to them. You're not even knowing really what they need, but what you just said uplifted them.
Yes.
It just gave them a new leave of life. And it's just now they're ready to run with it. So, serve beyond yourself. Think more than just about yourself. Be a volunteer, be a mentor, help someone with no expectation in return. You give and you get so much back when you just give without expecting anything back.
And one thing when you said volunteer, one of the most fulfilling volunteer experiences I have is whenever I work with Habitat for Humanity. Because, girl, have you done that before?
I have not, but I wanted to. I have a friend that did.
It's so much gratitude in that, because I feel so grateful that I'm able to help build someone's house. They give you a job to do. I was putting in some insulation one time, and I thought, because they showed me how to do it in the walls, and I was putting in the insulation pad, but I was helping out there, and then somebody else was coming. A man was coming behind me with the nails and the wood, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm helping to build someone's house. That just felt so rewarding to me.
Anyway. You put the work in for someone that's going to live there and have their family there. Oh,
I know that was so rewarding. And that was, one of those things where I didn't know anything about building a house, but we just have to be open to keep learning and evolving, y'all. Because the purpose is not fixed. It's always going to keep growing. And like we were just talking about a few minutes ago with our books that we're reading, but we have to always continue to read, explore, and just stay curious, you guys. Always be ready to learn. And then with some helpful resources that you guys might want to pick up are, if you haven't already read them, I know you probably have, but The Alchemist.
That one. Yes, I've heard of that.
Paulo Coelho, that is the best ever. Let Your Life Speak by Parker Palmer. The Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren.
Oh, baby, that's mine right there.
Yep. And then Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. So those are good. Those are 4 good books that you might want to put in your library. Or even speaking of that, check them out at the library. They're all in the library. Go check them out at the library if you don't want to buy them, or if you can't buy them. That's what the library is here for, y'all.
That's true.
The library is here for you if you don't have internet, if you can't afford to buy a book, and if give you a quiet place to take your laptop and go sit and work. The library and the library has rooms, conference rooms that you can not rent but reserve for free, just because you have a library card.
Free.
They have meetings in there.
And Cynthia, you know what? My Purpose Driven Life book, I have the journal still, and I still go through that.
Okay.
I go through it often. I actually have 2 sets. I received a set years and years and years ago when I was in my first marriage, about to go through a divorce, and a really good friend of mine asked me to meet them out at Cafe Intermezzo's downtown, and they gave me the Purpose Driven Life, and they said this is the roadmap, and this is going to help you get through what you're going through. You're going to be okay. So then years later, one of my nephews, he gave me the book on my birthday. He said, you're so he said, I always admire your energy and your commitment, and I think that you will love this book. And that's how I end up getting 2 sets of Purpose Driven Life. And I just totally still read them, and they're very helpful to me.
Yes, it's very on my bookshelf as well. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sorry, I had a message that came in that I had to confirm really, really quick. I do apologize for that. But I do want to say
are you finished? Go ahead and do what you need to do.
Yeah, I just had to just 1 second. I'm so sorry. My daughter's
no worries.
I just want to make sure
Girl, this is real life.
real life, exactly.
Okay.
My baby's in Baltimore and she was having an issue with. I just had to make sure that she was fine, and by the
Okay.
grace of God, she is. So now I can keep on
That's what's important. We
you
talking
know,
about family, girl.
talking about family, honey. So my baby was needing mama
Yes.
for a second, but
Yes.
in regards to purpose, the we
The
have a
Purpose of Real Life book.
well, I was going to talk about the reflective exercise.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just try this. Now you may, oh, why are we going to do this? But just listen to me. Write your own eulogy. Write your own eulogy. Imagine your life at the end. And the reason this is touching me, Cynthia, because you're going to think I'm, what you said earlier, bananas. You're going to think I'm bananas because I've already done this.
Okay.
I've already done this. So, I've already done this. So I was like, okay, so this was really good. Imagine your life at the end. What would you want people to say about how you lived, loved, and served? What would you want people to say about how you lived, loved, and how you served? And then reverse engineer your days from that vision. Okay? So what you're putting onto that paper now is what you want to make sure that you're living out. Right? You want to make sure that you're living this out. That's how you want it done. Okay? So in my eulogy, I put in my eulogy about all the good things that people have said about me. I also put in my eulogy about all the crafts things that people said about me. But it also made me recall why that may have happened. And I worked on those things to make myself a better person, to make my life a better, livable life. So this particular exercise is really good. It's really key. And I'm going to go back and write another one now just to go back and see if there's anything that's changed and compare.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I did this
Absolutely.
years ago. So now
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a new one. So write your own eulogy.
And thanks for that, sharing that. And I'm going to do this exercise myself. I'm going to go ahead and write my own eulogy if I can get it out. But I do want to share the story, and I don't share a whole lot about stuff like this. But probably a couple of months before my husband was killed, I was working for a long distance company, and I was a trainer, and I was taking a course, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That course. And so I was taking that course, and it was an in-class course. And I remember I used to come home every day and tell my husband this stuff. It was so interesting. It's like a 5-day course. And so I would come home and tell him every day what I learned that day. And he was like, wow, this is some incredible stuff. And so this one particular day, I came home and I told him, I said, you know what I learned, Kelly? You know what I learned today? Our instructor told us that every person we meet and interact with, treat them like they are going to speak at your funeral about you. And he said, wow, that is so good. I said, yeah. But he already did that. He was the type person who met no strangers, and he was good. He always helped people. But that really impacted him. And little did I know that he was going to die 2 months later. And he had been telling me throughout that time, after we had spoken about that, every day he was like, man, I met this person today. And I thought about what you told me. Everybody I see, I treat them like they're going to speak at my funeral. And I promise you, Val, we had his funeral. His funeral was at Flipper Temple AME Church downtown. And it's not a big church, but we had people. The church was packed in the main floor and in the balcony. People lined up on both sides of the wall, from the pew all the way back to the doors, when the pastor asked if anybody wanted to come and speak about how he killed.
Oh, my goodness.
And I said, now you must be, I said this when that was going on, because he had to cut it off. He said, we're never going to get to the cemetery in time, y'all. They gonna close the grave
Right.
with that casket being in there. He said, if I let all y'all speak. But so many people wanted to come up and speak, and that spoke to what he had done. He treated everyone as if they were going to speak at the funeral, and they did want to. They all wanted to talk about how he touched their lives. And that's how we need to live.
That's it. I
But
agree.
I'm writing my eulogy today, child.
I'm going to rewrite mine and just, I guess I want to compare it and see if there's anything different. I'm going to write it without even looking at my last one.
Yes. Oh, yes, that would be a good comparison. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, y'all, this has been a strong, strong, strong conversation. And we hope that you take some tips or something from this conversation and let it help you when you're establishing your purposes. You're trying to, define what your purpose is in life. And if you haven't already, and like Val said, maybe make some upgrades if you've already gone through the process, and take a look at it. Do that exercise at the end, because I've never done that, and I'm going to do it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. It's like it gave me a burst of energy. Like I'm recalling who I am, my purposes, and why, what really moves me. Because I really needed that after hearing about the bombing last night.
Yes.
Put me in a certain mood, and I'm not gonna lie, I got fearful. I was fearful. I thought about my children, my grandchildren. I'm like, oh my God, here this is going on. And my youngest grandchild is 2. Lord have mercy. I mean, everything just started going through my mind. I'm like, okay, something starts happening over here in the U.S. How can I get all of us in one place? What can I do to keep everybody safe? So my spirit was low, and I didn't think that it was that low until this morning. So on the call, because it just made
Oh, I didn't want to bring you down now. So I'm sorry.
oh, this made me feel better. That's
good. Okay.
It was that low until I'm like, I needed this.
Yes, to bring you back up.
I did. Okay. I this to help me so that now I'm not concerned. Now I go into plan of action. Okay, so now what's my plan?
Yes, yes. And the only reason I brought up the things that are going on, because people need to be aware, and because we need to stop it, and we can stop it. The people are the only way we can stop any dictatorship has ever been stopped by the people. It's always been stopped by the people. Anyway, though, but thank you guys for stopping by. And it's a glorious day. We're going to all try to learn our purposes if we don't already know them. And if we know them, we're just going to continue to work in them and bless other people with our purpose-driven lives.
I love that. Yeah, go forth and do great things, guys. That's what we do. Yes. That's it. Go forth and do great things for yourself and everybody else that's coming after you.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We need you. Let me say this too. We need y'all subscriptions, because we need for the subscriptions to grow. And if you watch the videos, I have seen where people are watching the videos, but I don't see a whole lot of likes and a whole lot of shares. I mean, not shares, subscriptions. So growing, the growing. It's just staying at a certain number, but that helps the algorithm. If you guys would like it, and like the video and subscribe to the video, we would be so grateful to you. Thank you so much, guys, and have an amazing day. Val, you didn't have anything you wanted to share, did you?
I just want everyone to have a blessed day today, and every day moving forward. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. The camps, the angels are camped around you every single day, no matter where you go. Just have a blessed day, guys. Just have a blessed day, a blessed life.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.